everybody, what's up? I'm Steven, and this weekend is the WWE Survivor Series weekend, starting with NXT TakeOver War Games the 3rd, and then Survivor Series on Sunday. To be honest, I'm looking forward to both shows, especially Survivor Series, because this is the first year that they're having NXT as part of the show as well, so you get like the Raw versus Smackdown versus NXT. I think it's going to be a really good show if they do everything right. Some of these matches are just like dream matches. I've heard a lot of people saying how much they're going to love some of these matches. And I'm just hoping that, fingers crossed, that it's actually a really good show. I know for a fact that NXT TakeOver War Games is going to be a good show. It has been every year so far. And NXT is usually better at doing their pay-per-views. But I'm hoping Survivor Series will be really good this year. So I'm just going to run down the list of all the matches that are taking place and kind of give my predictions on who's going to win these matches, if anything chaotic might happen, or if there's any surprise interferences, things like that. This will be part 1, and then later on today will be part 2 of the video where Clay will give his predictions as well. So stay tuned for that if you want to hear more predictions and someone else's opinion and theories on what's going to happen. So the first match I'm going to talk about is the Battle of the Tag Team Champions. It's the triple threat match between the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Viking Raiders, the Smackdown Tag Team Champions, the New Day, and the NXT Tag Team Champions, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly from the Undisputed Era. Now I have gone with the Viking Raiders for this match. I can't really say why. I feel like maybe they're probably the better, they're like the stronger team, and I feel like maybe if they might end up like pinning New Day or something. I don't think that the Undisputed Era is going to like take the loss in this. I think they're just going to I don't know, I just said Viking Raiders because there's other picks later on that I have that I think NXT... I don't think NXT is going to win every match, if they even win any, because we know how WWE books things, and they're not going to want to make NXT look stronger than Raw and SmackDown, so I'm sure NXT probably won't win any of these matches. But for this match in particular, I'm going with the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Viking Raiders, to win this match. And I think that might be a pretty good match. It was almost Viking Raiders Undisputed Era and the Revival until they changed the SmackDown champions to the New Day, which, that would have been like an NXT heavy match because all three of them are former or current NXT tag team champions. But I feel like that's why they had to change that, because they didn't want it to seem like, oh, this is all a former NXT superstars match. But anyway, I went with the Viking Raiders for that one. Next up, there is actually going to be an NXT Championship match taking place on this show. Adam Cole will be defending the title against the winner of a triple threat match that's taking place at NXT TakeOver, which actually happens later tonight. We're putting this out before the NXT TakeOver show, so we don't know who the winner of the triple threat match is going to be, but I feel like it's going to be Pete Dunne. I feel like that's the more because it's Pete Dunne versus Killian Dane versus Damian Priest in a triple threat match. And I feel like the logical answer for this would be Pete Dunne, probably, because him and Adam Cole could probably put on a really good match. But I'm saying Adam Cole is going to retain the title. Mostly because I don't think they would change the title on a WWE show when they could just change it on NXT. Plus, I think they're still trying to set up for the Adam Cole versus Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT Championship. So putting the title on Pete Dunne wouldn't really necessarily make sense for that storyline, because now Tommaso Ciampa is back and he wants his title back. I don't think taking it off of Pete Dunne or putting the title on Pete Dunne is the right option. So I'm saying Pete Dunne wins that triple threat match, but he doesn't beat Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. I don't know if he wins even by disqualification, but I'm just going with Adam Cole to win and retain the championship. Next up, we have the women's triple threat match, or women's champions triple threat match between the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch, the SmackDown SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley, and the NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler. I'm actually going for Shayna Baszler in this match. This is one of the few matches I think NXT might actually win, and here's why, because a lot of people have been speculating this as well. This isn't just me, but I think Ronda Rousey might come back in this match, and this will definitely set up the 4 horsewomen, because like Bayley and Becky Lynch are both in this match. That's 2 of the 4 WWE horsewomen. So then having Ronda Rousey help Shayna Baszler builds up. That's the other 2, or the 2 women from the other 4 horsewomen, and that can already start that rivalry, build it up to WrestleMania with the next couple months, like they did with last year's Survivor Series. They did a good job. Becky Lynch wasn't able to make it, and they built her up until WrestleMania. Like, they took several months to build Becky up to win the main event of WrestleMania. So I think that will lead into that, and Ronda will help Shayna Baszler beat Becky and Bayley, and it will build into that storyline with the 4 horsewomen colliding. Then we have the mid-card champions triple threat, as it's being called, which is the United States champion AJ Styles versus the NXT North American champion Roderick Strong versus Intercontinental champion Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, I don't really know why, but I've selected Roderick Strong to win this match. That's another NXT win in this scenario. I don't know if maybe the other members of the Undisputed Era would interfere, and I know it probably doesn't look good having AJ Styles lose at Survivor Series and then having him possibly lose the United States Championship the following Monday on Raw, because he is defending his title next Monday on Raw against Humberto Carrillo, and he probably would lose that match. I think they just wanted to keep the title on him so they could do this awesome triple threat match. People are saying this might be the match of the night, and I think it will be. But I think Roderick Strong is going to come away with the win here. I don't really know why I picked him, to be honest, but I wanted to give NXT some wins, and I was trying to think logically how this could end. I don't see, like, Shinsuke really winning this. Now that I think about it, he probably will, though, or AJ. But I'm going with Roderick Strong, the North American champion, to win this match. Next up is the traditional Survivor Series elimination match. This time it's actually 5 on 5 on 5. This is the women's side of things, so it's the women's Team Raw, women's Team Raw versus the SmackDown women's team versus NXT women's team. We don't know who's on the NXT women's team yet, and we know all the members of Raw and SmackDown, but just looking at those two lineup, like Raw, I think is Charlotte Flair, Natalya Neidhart, the Kabuki Warriors, and what's the other? Sarah Logan. And then SmackDown is Sasha Banks, Nikki Cross, Carmella, Dana Brooke, and I forget who the 5th person is. Yeah, I forget who the 5th, but looking at those two teams, and then comparing that to the women of NXT, I'm fairly certain NXT is coming away with this, so I said NXT Women's Champion, or the women's team in this match. I don't think the SmackDown or Raw women's teams can even hold a candle to the NXT women's division. I mean, right now, let's be honest here, but who knows how that'll go. But I'm saying NXT for that match as well. That's 3 in a row. And I'm thinking that the team SmackDown is going to be eliminated first in this scenario, because I think Raw seems to have a slightly better lineup than SmackDown does. So I think Team SmackDown will be wiped out first, leaving Team Raw versus Team NXT. And next up is the WWE Championship No Holds Barred match. This one was kind of tough for me to decide at first, because I was trying to think of where they can go with this, but I'm thinking it's Brock Lesnar defending the title against Rey Mysterio. And because it's no holds barred, like only because of that, I think Rey Mysterio might actually win this and walk out with the WWE Championship. Because there could be some kind of interference from Rey's son Dominic, or Cain Velasquez could make an appearance, even though he's not going to be competing for a while, I guess, but I feel like he could cost Brock that match, and then you set up at Royal Rumble or even WrestleMania, you get the rematch between Brock and Cain Velasquez. I don't know how long Rey Mysterio would keep the title if he were to win it. I don't think Brock Lesnar is competing at TLC. I mean, let's be honest here. Maybe not even The Fiend. I mean, Bray Wyatt might compete at TLC, but I don't think Brock Lesnar would. So if they wanted to have the WWE Champion compete at TLC, I think you put the title on Rey, at least for now. Maybe Brock wins it back at the Rumble. Then you have Cain Velasquez and Brock at WrestleMania. I don't know, but I'm thinking, because it's no holds barred, I'm thinking Rey wins this match. Originally, I was going to say Rey anyways, but I was going to say by disqualification or count out, he wins the match to set up another feud between them down the line. But once they changed it and made it a no holds barred match, I thought Rey Mysterio will just cleanly win this match and win the WWE Championship. I don't know. I think that might be a good match. Either that, or it's just going to be Brock Lesnar beating Rey Mysterio with a chair for 20 minutes. It'll be longer than most of his matches, I'm going to assume. Like, even his Seth Rollins match at SummerSlam went a lot longer than usual. But I think Rey is coming out with the win here, either with the interference from Cain Velasquez or Dominic or whoever, or just Rey beats him with weapons and then, hits a 619 and wins. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out. We'll see. Next up is the Men's Survivor Series elimination match. Team Raw is Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, Ricochet, and Randy Orton. Team SmackDown was Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin, Mustafa Ali, Shorty G. I hate saying that name. Why can't his name just be Chad Gable? And I forget the fifth member of that team as well. Oh well, anyways. And Team NXT, we don't know who the members of that team are. Braun Strowman, that's who was the fifth member of Team SmackDown. Sorry for backtracking. So Team Raw versus Team SmackDown versus Team NXT, who we don't know the members of that yet. I think they're waiting until after NXT TakeOver to see who's still available, who isn't hurt from competing in War Games. But for this one, I'm actually going with, go with the crazy train here for a second. I'm saying Team SmackDown wins this, only because Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns are on that team. And I've heard that they're going to continue the Roman Reigns-Baron Corbin feud for some strange reason. Nobody wants to see that. I don't want to see that. I don't think anybody else wants to see that. But we're going to be seeing it, I guess, more. So I feel like the best way for them to continue that feud is have Baron Corbin as like the sole survivor for Team SmackDown, and somehow comes away with the win, beating Team NXT and Team Raw. I know it sounds delusional, it sounds crazy, but it's WWE. We know how they book things. I mean, a disqualification in a Hell in a Cell match. I mean, seriously. Or actually a no contest, or however that went. Nobody liked that happening, and it happened. Nobody thought that was going to happen, but it did. So, in this case, I'm saying Baron Corbin wins the whole thing for Team SmackDown so that he can brag, I am King Corbin, I'm greater than everybody. Roman Reigns couldn't get the job done, but I did. I'm thinking that's what we're going to hear Baron Corbin brag about that until he faces Roman Reigns at probably TLC, I'm going to say. I think they're having a match at TLC. It's been leaked or speculated or whatever, but I'm saying Team SmackDown wins this. I don't want to. That's against my better judgment, but I'm thinking logically here how WWE might book this. So we'll see. What do I know? And I'm saying that Team Raw might actually be eliminated first in this crazy universe that I'm living in right now, where I'm saying SmackDown wins this. I think Raw will be eliminated first, leaving Team NXT to be cleaned up by Team SmackDown. I hate saying that, but it's probably true, and I wanted to go with my gut feeling on this one. Next up, we have the last match I think that's on the card, unless they announce any more, is the Universal Championship match between The Fiend and Daniel Bryan. I mean, let's just face it here, The Fiend is winning. It might be a good match. Daniel Bryan's really good in the ring, and so is The Fiend. I mean, I feel like we'll see Bryan having some comeback moments, but then, The Fiend, just like he did with Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, it'll just be like he'll come back up out of nowhere and win the match. I think The Fiend is keeping the title. Personally, I think he's keeping it until WrestleMania, where then, maybe Braun Strowman takes it from him or something. I feel like somebody's going to finally beat Bray at WrestleMania for the title. But I do think he's keeping it until at least WrestleMania, if not longer. I don't see him going a whole year with it or nothing. Eventually, The Fiend has to be beaten, even if he wins the title back afterwards. But right now, I'm saying The Fiend beats Daniel Bryan at Survivor Series and retains the championship. So there you have it, guys. Those are my predictions for Survivor Series. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments section. Do you think any of these predictions might come true? Let us know your predictions as well. I'm sure it'll be a good show. Like I said earlier, I'm looking forward to it. Let me know, also, what do you guys think was maybe the best Survivor Series team of all time? Let's put that in the comments section as well. What do you guys think was the best Survivor Series team? I haven't personally seen every Survivor Series ever. I'm sure there are people out there that have seen a lot of them. So tell me what your favorite Survivor Series team up was, 5-on-5 matches, either for the men or the women. That's it. Enjoy your weekend, everybody, and take care.